All right, here. I'm ready whenever you are. Just let me know.
All right, I'm ready. All right, welcome in everybody to another episode of the Gentleman's Code, episode 37. I'm here with Priyama, who's in Las Vegas right now. So I'm sure we're gonna be catching up a little bit as we haven't talked in a few days, few weeks. So we're gonna be catching up. Priyama, welcome back. How you doing? I was actually before we got on, I gotta just tell the story if people haven't heard it. But Priyama posted on his Instagram story, I don't know, early this morning or late last night of him driving the Ferrari. And I just thought it was hilarious. Just the look on your face while you're whiffing around the track, going 160 miles an hour down the straightaway. Oh my God, the funniest thing I've seen all day. So it looks like you're having fun. Looks like you're getting shit done out there as well. So what's going on?
Yeah, bro. Fucking class day at the track. That shit was. So I had done it once in the past with the brokerage that we were with a couple years ago. We were out there for my birthday in December, and so this time around we're out here in Vegas for the convention for the company, the insurance company. And I went there with Martin, gentleman. I'm gonna have him get on one of these podcasts with us one of these weeks. He's fantastic. Dude's a hustler. And so we were said, all right, let's hit the track. Let's fucking go. First of all, dress like professionals, but also, put a little flavor on the day. Let the people know that we show up, that we're the fucking big dogs. So he bought a brand new pair of Ferragamo loafers, driving loafers, right? So Ferragamo, for those of you who don't know, Europeans, because they have some fucking class, they wear Ferragamo loafers that have grips on the bottom of the shoe that are made for the pedals in these Ferraris and Lambos, so when you're going around the track, you're not losing traction. You can't lose your footing, right? When you're going 160, you can't have any fucking jerky reactions. You're fucking spinning out and you're going into a pylon or into a barrier. Dude,
They're leather, right? And then they have the rubber at the bottom. I got
exactly.
the knockoffs, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Exactly. So the driving shoes. So he gets those. He brings them to the track fresh. And then I bought. So I said, all right, well, if he's buying fresh pair for the track, I got to buy a fresh pair because I got the Ferragamo driving shoes, but I've had this for a year or two. So I said, I need something fresh. We went to Gucci. Bought it from Gucci, but they didn't have it in the store. So I had them bring it to the store from their warehouse, the new shoes, and they didn't have them ready for me before we hit the track. So the lady, I was saying like, listen, I need these right now. We're going to the track. I gotta have my fucking shoes ready. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. And then I said, all right, here, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give you my phone number. All right, I'm gonna give you my contact information. We're going to the track now. Have one of your guys bring them to the track. Deliver them to the track as soon as they have them ready. She's like, okay, that's fine. So we hit the track, and then while I'm there getting signed in, picking out the Ferrari, the dude shows up with the Gucci bag, and I posted it. Fucking delivered the shoes right to the track.
I didn't piece it together. I saw the delivery guy holding the Gucci slides. I'm like, okay, he got them delivered to his hotel, but now it's making sense.
To the track. Yeah, they brought him right to the fucking track. I get into the Ferrari, and the guy that I was driving with is like, oh, you're gonna put these on? I said, yeah. I take off the Gamos, put on the fresh pair of Gucci's, flip into the driver's seat, and the guy's like, oh, this guy's a professional. I said, yep. So yeah, but no, dude. So the track was fucking sick though. My face is just straight, fucking fire, dude.
So is that Las Vegas Speedway that you went to and did that?
Yeah, Speed Vegas. Yeah, it's called Speed Vegas. It's a closed track, and it's a company that does it. They have, Ferrari, McLaren, Lamborghini. They have all the supercars that you want to drive. GT3 RS, Porsche. They have 488 Pista. So Martin was in the 488 Pista, which was that car is so nice. I was looking at Pistas. They're about $500,000 to $600,000.
Legit supercar.
So
Legit.
nice, so nice. It's faster, even though it's older than the F8 Tributo, which is what I was driving. That's the newest V8 model for the Ferrari. The Pista is the basically special version of the 488, and it's so fucking fast. So Martin was ripping around the track in that. He only beat me by 3 seconds in lap time, but he should have because he had the faster car. But I was ripping in the F8. The F8 was fire too.
Yeah, the reason I asked because I'm actually going to be out. I'm going to be out in Vegas at the beginning of next month, June 6th, exactly like 1 month from today. So I'm looking for activities to fill some empty time slots. So I think that might have to be one. Speed Vegas.
Hit it. It is good. So do at least 10 laps. Otherwise, it's not really worth it. They let you do 5 laps, 10 laps, 15, 20, 25. The more laps you do, the better. It's obviously discounted, but 5 is just not enough because by the time you do 5 laps, you just got into rhythm and then you're done, right?
Yeah.
Takes a couple of laps to loosen up because listen, that shit is not, it's not for the faint of heart. You're fucking you can fly. I mean, these are fucking supercars, and they have them tuned for the track, so it's not. In a normal car, if you want to do a complete U-turn, you have to turn the wheel 3-4 times just to get the wheel all the way around. The wheels are set to 1-to-1 ratio. So if you're like this, that's a complete U-turn that you're going.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So when you're making that turn, like I saw it was like a little S turn, you hit the right and then the left. It's probably super easy to oversteer it then.
It is, yes. So it's because the ratio is 1-to-1 steering ratio. So and they do that in these supercars when you're on tracks because, first of all, even though you're going so fast, you're not actually turning that much to get the car to go where you need to go because you need to be able to do it quickly. If it took you 3 rotations of the wheel to fucking do a sharp turn, you would never have time because you're going so fast.
Yeah,
Like, you
never
just
thought
don't have
about
time.
that.
Yeah, so it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So whenever my hands are like this, that's a complete U-turn basically. So 1-to-1 ratio on that. The braking is obviously it's a lot tighter. So the brakes hit harder. And another thing the guy taught me about on the track is street braking. Whenever people brake on normal roads, typically they slow down as they're going into a stoplight, and then as they get closer to the stoplight, they press down on the brake harder until they come to a stop. So it starts from light to high brake pressure. On a track, you want to do it completely different. You want to do the complete opposite. You actually should put all of the braking force in at the beginning of that brake, and then as you're coming into the turn, you're releasing off the pedal so that as you're coming out of the turn, you're already
You
accelerating.
hit the gas. Yep.
Yeah, because when you shift the weight in the cars, especially in Ferraris, the engine is mid-engine or in the back. So all the weight is back there. So for the car to be able to have good traction around these turns, it's crazy how the car, when you're going that fast, it matters. You got to in the video I posted, you hear me skidding. I almost lost the back end because I was flying. He's like, no, don't squeeze it. I was like, I almost lost it. When you brake really hard at the beginning, it shifts the weight of the car to the front side. So it angles the nose down. And so because now there's more weight shifted to the front of the car, it's more evenly distributed, and then you can hit the turns with better handling. It's interesting. It's the science to it.
It's very interesting if somebody like that has never driven a supercar on a track. I never have, so it's definitely interesting. I've watched a lot of NASCAR growing up, so I got a little bit of an idea of how they tune the cars, but nothing like that. Especially they obviously don't race Ferraris and Lamborghinis and those type of cars in NASCAR, but yeah, they do. A lot of the things that I see is they do chassis adjustments. So they'll tighten, especially for NASCAR. It's super important to have one side of the car super tight and then one side of the car loose because they're making circles. For when you're off a what do they call it? Off-road track.
Right.
It's probably important to have. It depends on like you were driving almost kind of like an oval, a lot of left turns. So it's important to have probably that right side super tight and the lower side where you're trying to get that hit the line, a little bit looser. But so super interesting. That's one thing. When you talk about cars, it's like people think it's just cars what they look like, and that is a big part of it. But there's so much mechanical things that you could tune up and you could learn about your car, how it drives. Tires matter a lot. And yeah, it's super interesting. So I think I'm going to look into that when I go out next month.
Yeah, you should do it for sure. It's fire. And that's another thing with the F8. That's why I want to drive the F8 because I thought about buying the F8. Between that, the 812, I've looked at 488s as well. So when I test drove the 812 Superfast in Arizona, I test drove it at the place where I bought the GT at. So I took out the 812, and you see even from the AMG GT to the 812 how different the car is in the way that it drives. So the AMG, you can get in that automatic. It's a daily driver. You can drive it like a normal car, right? You could hit the track with it too. But in 812 Superfast, these Ferraris and these Lamborghinis, these are track cars that you can drive on the road. So, and if you've never driven one, you don't really know what that means. No, when I got into the 812 and then the same thing with the F8, I'm thinking to myself, this just having this as a normal daily driver is ridiculous. Ridiculous. There's no reverse or excuse me, there's no park feature in these cars. So in Ferraris, there's no park. It's just neutral and then you put on the emergency brake.
Yep.
So
The parking brake.
yeah, the parking brake, exactly. There's no like park. You can put the car in park and then you sit in park.
Yeah.
No, it's you start the engine, the car starts in neutral, or you have to put it into neutral to turn it off. Then you flip up the paddle into first gear and then you can start going. And then you touch the accelerator. It's just anything on the gas is just holy shit. That's a lot. Yeah. And so when I test drove the 812, the car wasn't warmed up at all. I just took it out of the fucking warehouse and we just started driving. I tried to hit just a little bit of gas on the one turn, and I told you this fucking fishtailed it, immediately put it sideways. The guy's like, "Yeah, we got to go back." It's like, bro, you got to give me fucking heads up. I didn't know there was that much fucking power. It's insane. They're not cars to be driven daily, but it's gangster to drive them daily.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can only imagine driving. I mean, one of the things you got to worry about driving it daily is the suspension, especially, you're in Pennsylvania. Some of those potholes, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, dude.
You fucking wreck the rim on those real quick.
Yeah, you don't drive those in I'm not gonna get one until I'm out of PA. I'm gonna probably, bro. I'm probably going down to Miami. I've decided
think?
now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. You were in Miami last week, just and when you were there, I reached out to you. I'm like, you're a Miami guy. You gotta get down there. It's just when you're there, it feels so. It is the tropics technically. It's so tropical. It's so nice. Everybody's out. Everyone's fit. Everyone's trying to get active, and the nightlife. People are doing things. People are going out and doing business. It's just a great spot to be.
It is, and here's a big thing too. You got to go where your value's high, right? My value's high in Pittsburgh, but when I go down to Miami, even the honeys like me more. I'm telling you, because they're Latinas down there. I got that look. They see me down there. They fucking the whole week was easy. Instagram, phone number, boom, easy, bro, easy. And these are world class honeys. These are tens. These aren't your fucking Pittsburgh 8 where it's like, oh,
Southside shoddy.
Yeah, this isn't your fucking Carson City saloon girl. There's some bitch you found at Foxtail. So no, it was class Huns, and so that in and of itself is enough reason to go down there because, like you said, the energy, the environment, that's what it's about, is being around that energy. If that's the lifestyle and that's the energy that you need, you got to surround yourself with those sorts of people, and then attempt to outcompete them, right? Mm-hmm. I was talking to Martin about the fact he loves that we do the gentleman's code, because there's a code to being a gentleman. That's what we want to do. We build a network. We live by a code. We have brotherhood. We have loyalty. We try to make money, and a part of that for me is I'm only going to surround myself with people who are going to force me to elevate my level of play. When you stay in the city that you grew up in, you see how everybody doesn't level up. Everybody's the same. Everybody doesn't make that much money. It's just those are the normies. If you want to branch out and see what real money looks like, see what people are actually capable of making, you got to go to cities like Miami, New York, used to be Los Angeles, but not really anymore. But you got to go to these financial hubs where people are winning at the highest levels and making money at the highest levels, and see, oh, okay, back home, I'm killing it compared to everybody else. But here in Miami, I'm not really doing that good. But it's good. I mean, that's the same thing I'm sure in Tampa is there's a lot of people hustling there. It's good to be around that.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the first things I said to you when I moved here. I said, people in my building, there's Ferraris and there's Lamborghinis and Bentleys and things just sitting out there. It's motivating when you go to your car and you're like, wow, I want one. Wish I was taking that out. So, and then it's another huge part is just the networking opportunities that you have being in a place like that. And, the people you can meet on a night out and pitch yourself, the elevator pitch, especially you live in a high-rise apartment in Brickell, you're going to be surrounded by some players. So you want to go out, have your elevator pitch ready. I meet people new every day here. So yeah, it's a great opportunity. And like you said, with the being surrounded by people that are going to elevate you, that is super important. And that's what you find in a big city. You could find your people because there's all different types of people. And usually in the case of Miami, it's all transfers. It's not many people there anymore
Yeah.
that we would meet or hang out with, like grew up in there. I'm sure there is some people, but it's mostly transplants. People that were doing great in New York, now they're down in Miami. People that were doing great in Los Angeles, now they're down in Miami. So you have a lot of transplants of people that are going there just for that, just for the networking, just to meet people, just to build businesses. And I think you know, building out the Taylor's Code and building out the network community, it'll only benefit us if me and you are closer to each other. Obviously, the
Collaborate.
collaborations and all that.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, I think it's a great idea for you. And I think, I honestly I go on Zillow a lot and I've been looking down there in Miami and some of the places you could get because the supply is so much. There's so much supply down there because they have so many apartment buildings that it's a great deal. It's almost as cheap as Tampa just because Tampa doesn't have the supply that Miami does.
Yeah, and when I go down to Miami, we have Tristan's down there. My boy Tristan, he does
Yep.
podcasting. He's done podcasts with Antonio Brown. He's done podcasts with Jorge Masvidal. He's had podcasts with he's in that space too. So we can do we'll do content with him. When I get a spot down in Miami, I'm also going to build because it's going to be okay. This is where I'm living at. This is where I'm going to build the next couple years of my life. I'll get a studio down there. Then you come down for a week. Boom, we hit it in the studio, film podcast the whole week, do content, and yeah, it'll be game changer because it'll be taking it to the next level. And also being down there in Miami, we're going to be able to expand the network with people down there, continue to grow. And a lot of people in Miami are crypto money as well.
Yep.
Crypto.
Big crypto hub.
Yes, Miami is a huge crypto hub. A lot of crypto people down there. So again, be in that environment where now we're around more people who are in the crypto space, continue to bring them into the network, and that's what's going to continue to improve what we're doing inside the Discord because the more minds you have watching the markets, watching the different opportunities to make money in the crypto space, the better for everybody. Because things that we don't even really talk about on the live stream so much is there's way more to crypto than just buying a coin and waiting for the number to go up, the price. That's how a normie will only make money in crypto. Yeah, there's a great way to make money, but that's not the only opportunity. There's plenty of opportunities within on-chain in crypto where you make money off of the capital that you have. So whether the price is going up or not, you're still generating an income off of that. And those are some of the things that I keep private for our private clients that come to us and they want to invest individually. They want to have us manage their portfolio. There are things like DeFi loans. We've talked about this. The different liquidity pool aspects to the space that once the cycle's winding down from the bull run perspective, and then you want to rotate your profits into a situation where you're able to generate an income regardless of the price going up or down. Those are the avenues that you would take. And so
it's a real store of value. It really has become a store of value now, like to a US dollar currency. It's somewhere you could put your money and that it's either going to make you an APY or it's going to go up in value, either one.
Exactly. Yep. And so when you have enough money, you have $1 million, $2 million, couple $1 million, and you don't even want to be in a high risk environment or you just want to be able to preserve that wealth, there are ways where you just lock up that $1 million in a DeFi platform that we use and you just generate a 15% APY on that $1 million. Guess what? You have an income every single month without spending any of that $1 million. You could literally take the 15%.
That's 15 grand a month.
Exactly. So you take that money every single month now. That's your income. Now you don't have to work a job. But all you got to do is get to that $1 million. Now, the $1 million might sound like it's difficult to get to, but if you've got the right income, you hit the right investments, that's not out of the realm of possibility within a year or two. It's absolutely in the realm of possibility. So it's things like that people they just don't know about these things. They're not in a position or know the people to actually show them this. Everybody has the same opportunity. Everybody has access to the same ways to make money. The difference is you and me know about it and other people don't. So how are they going to take advantage of something that they don't know about? This is why you want to be in the network. This is why you got to have this brotherhood, this loyalty, so that as you're doing e-commerce, I'm doing crypto, Logan's into fitness, we're all learning our spaces at the highest levels and then coming back to each other, say, all right, here's how we can collaborate. Here's how we can make money together. Boom, 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 boom. So
yeah. And the thing about crypto is I think it's honestly, 50% of, like you said, knowing about it, just educating yourself about it, which we could teach you inside of the Taylor's Code. But the other 50% is just starting to get exposure to it. Find a place where you could deposit some money each month, buy some Ethereum, buy some Bitcoin, buy some Solana, whatever you want to do, put it in USD, and start getting exposure to the markets. Just start accumulating these coins and start learning about what it is that you could do to make money. And like you're saying, the liquidity pools and all these other things that we know about now. But uh, the whole battle is just putting exposure to it. So getting your money in there and start seeing how it works is half the battle. The other half is just educating yourself to be able to learn how to make a wallet and to start getting on chain and things like that. So again, these are all things that everybody could learn. Not everybody is going to want to learn because one, people are stubborn, and then two, people are just lazy. They don't want to take the time out of their day for whatever reason to learn about this stuff. But it's so much opportunity in the crypto space right now. It's unbelievable. And the thing is, nobody talks about it. No, there's a small group of crypto guys on X that talk every day, and
Yep.
we know who they are. And you talk about it twice a week. We all see that, the people that are in the community. But for the people that actually want to get into the space, there's not a lot of resources out there. I mean, that you could work with on a daily basis. And besides these private communities, which we're co-founders of one, the Taylor's Code.
And a lot of the information that's online is a full gauze. It's just super base level, educating on what's a coin or how does the blockchain work or what's Bitcoin. You'll get these little educational things that you can find online, which aren't bad if you have no idea how the industry works. But what you need to know is what the high level individuals are actually doing. What are the guys who are actually creating the opportunity for themselves and making money? What are they doing? Because you're not going to make the money doing what everybody else does. The opportunity lies within the scarcity of the opportunity. The less people that know about something, the less that they've exploited that opportunity, the more money that you're going to be able to make from it. Nobody knows about liquidity pools. Nobody knows how to generate fees off of that. Nobody knows how to generate fee off of the DeFi loans and leveraging your own collateral to take loans out against yourself to then. So I'll explain one of the strategies just so people can understand what we're talking about. So with a bank, right? How does a bank make money? Bank takes your money that you put into the bank and they loan it out to somebody else at an interest rate. So how do they make their money? They pay you, 1% on your money, and then they go ahead and loan out your money at a 5% rate, right? So it's basically arbitrage. They're taking your cash, paying you to hold it in their bank so then they can go sell it at a markup. Okay, that's how they make money. So they make the 4-point difference between the one they pay you and the 5 that they charge. Cool. So that's how a bank makes money. So how could you leverage that business model, which is obviously working at a very high level for banks? How can you leverage that for yourself? Well, in DeFi, when you actually get on chain, you can go on Ethereum and you can say, okay, I have capital. I have 100 grand in Bitcoin that I want to collateralize and then take a loan out against my 100,000 of Bitcoin, right? Collateral being your safety on the loan, right? If you buy a car and you get a loan for that car, your collateral is the car. You don't pay the loan, they take your car. Same thing with the house. You get a mortgage, you don't pay your mortgage, they take your house. There's your collateral. So if you lock up $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, you have 100 grand of collateral, you can loan out to yourself $80,000 against your 100,000 of Bitcoin. So you now take that 80,000 in USDT, that stable coin, and you go invest that into Pepe, Andy, Wolf, Brett, which are going to be a higher leverage play than a Bitcoin, meaning that if Bitcoin goes up 2x, Pepe is going to go up 10x, right? So now, by you taking that 80,000 and buying Pepe with it, then you outperform Bitcoin. Your $80,000 that you loaned out to yourself is now worth, let's say, $250,000. You still only owe back $80,000 on that loan. So you take your $250,000, you pay back the 80, you profit the 170, right? You profit the 170, and then guess what? You get your 100K collateral back too. That's but people don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's the biggest finesse. It's finesse. This is how rich people do it. Yeah.
That is, yeah, you're right. That's how rich people do it. They do it with real estate. They do it with the cash that they have in their bank. It's the same concept. And like you said, if a concept like that is working or a business model like that is working, the crypto environment did a really good job at, some of these companies like one that we researched in the past and talk about on here is Aave. That's a big one, and I know there's other companies out there that do it, but yeah, it's a great business model for not only them to make money, but also for you to make money in other different ways. And I think, speaking about like Aave and things like that, these are financial institutions that are being built. These are not just crypto coins, and that's another, leverage that you could use is using that these are financial institutions backed by a real asset now, and they're giving you ways to make money on your money. And a lot of people don't know that these exist. They think they're just coins on the internet, but no, these are real companies, real DeFi, decentralized finance companies that are building products that are going to, make people money. So not only do your research into like what these coins are. So if you go on, major exchanges like Coinbase or Binance and you see these coins, you might not know exactly what they are or what they do, but there's actually a story to all of these major coins. And even the, just the meme coins have meaning now at this point, the boys club per se. So there is actually real value and real meaning to these businesses because they are businesses, majority of them. You can think of XRP. I think XRP has great potential as well, and Aave coin, and there's so many that you could talk about. But the real store of value, I think, is what you're talking about, is in getting that percentage on your money, like just sitting it there, just staking it and getting that money. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's, I think Bitcoin's closer to 5 or 6% or something like that. But still, it's a store of value, and it's a great place to put your money if you know you're not going to spend it.
Exactly. And so, yeah, people want to make money and have financial freedom, but they're unwilling, like you said, to educate themselves on how to make money or how money works. That's all that we obsess over 24/7, 7 days a week is how does money work? How do people make money? What more can I learn about money? That's all I've done for the past 4 years, whether it was building the insurance business, whether it was the Taylor's Code with you. It doesn't matter what it was. But throughout that entire process, it's, well, how do we make money? How does money work? Where does it come from? And so when you learn these things, now you can actually understand, okay, what are these people who are generating billions of dollars for themselves, these wealth fund managers, these billionaires, what are they doing, right? You were talking about, I'll give you another example of something that billionaires do. We were just talking about collateralizing your own assets to then take out loans and use that money to spend it. That's what all these billionaires do with their stock, right? Elon Musk doesn't actually sell his stock to go spend his money, right? He goes to a bank and uses his stock as collateral, just what we were talking about, and says, hey, I have $100 billion of Tesla stock. Go ahead and give me a loan for $2 billion in my collateral or my stocks. Okay, here you go, Mr. Musk. Boom, sign him a check. They send him the $2 billion. Guess what? Because that $2 billion is a loan, he doesn't pay what on it?
Tax.
He doesn't pay tax. So,
and,
yeah.
And that's a big argument by people is saying, oh, these billionaires, they don't pay tax, this and that. It's like, yeah, because they know the system. It's the tax code. And if they don't sell their stock, they don't pay capital gains tax because they're not selling their asset. They're taking a loan out, which is actually tax deductible. So they get to they get to pay less taxes because they understand the tax system is that they're paying interest on a loan. Say if they take out, that $2 billion loan that Elon Musk takes out, he pays it off over 10 years per se, and he pays interest on that loan. He could tax deduct that interest from his tax that he's not going to pay. So he might actually make money, from taking the loan out. So yes, that's a whole nother story. And that's a liberal thing that they can't seem to understand, that concept about not paying the taxes on the capital gains stock stuff. So, but that would be a poor decision if Elon Musk were going to say, I'm going to sell $2 billion worth of Tesla stock just to get the cash, because he could go get the cash somewhere else with all the collateral he has, like you're saying.
Exactly. Leverage your assets, build up your assets, and then leverage them for more money. So, so that's what I was saying. The point is that you have to know these things. You have to understand how these guys are playing the game instead of crying about it and say, oh, why do these guys not have to pay taxes? Oh, how does he get away with it? How do they make money? It's not that you don't have access to the same opportunity. No, you do. That's the thing. You do have the same tax code. You operate under the same exact tax code as these billionaires. Now, are there things that are set in place that are going to benefit them more than you, and just the way they're set up financially? Yes, but that's why you have to fix your financial situation so that you can benefit from the same rules, right? Because if you're somebody like me and Bobby, you assume that you are going to become that wealthy. So if I'm assuming that I'm going to become that wealthy and I can do what they've done, I don't want them to change the rules that are going to benefit me down the road. It's like I'm going to benefit from them at some point. Only the person who is unable to rationalize themselves becoming that successful want the rules to change, because they never believe the rules are going to benefit them. So that means you don't believe in yourself to make money. I'm not going to have them change the rules. It's going to help me one day. Don't change the rules. It's helping me right now. So you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want them to change the rules
Yeah.
that are going to benefit me down the road.
Yeah, and actually, while you were saying that, kind of triggered another thought, kind of the same thing, but in terms of real estate. When I was in commercial real estate accounting, they did the same thing. They would take a loan out for a building, but the loan would be backed by another building that the company owed. So, or it could, I mean, eventually, once they showed that the building was turning profit and that it was making money from tenants or whatever, then they would go back to that loan. But they were taking loans out for all these buildings to renovate them, make them nicer, and mostly in New York is where these were. So these skyscraper buildings that were maybe shitholes and they wanted to fix them up, they would take a loan out. The loan is backed by the building itself, but then once the building starts turning a profit, then they're in the green every month. And then once they could show the bank, like, hey, listen, you gave me this loan for $100 million for this building. I'm turning a profit on the building each month. I'm paying you the loan back with interest. The bank's gonna go, okay, here's another loan for another building. Here's another loan for another building, and then that's how they just stack up these commercial real estate portfolios that are massive, and then they pay these buildings off, and now they have a cash generating asset each month.
Bang. See? Nah, I didn't know that. But that's it. That's the game, baby. That's the fucking game. That should excite you whenever you're listening to this and saying, "Oh my what the hell are these guys doing?" And figuring that out and then doing it for yourself. Because yeah, they might be doing it for skyscrapers in New York, but you could do that for a four-door property that's one of your first purchases, and you want to start getting into the real estate business. You want to have tenants, right? Personally, that's not my dream, is to have a bunch of fucking tenants and do real estate that way. But once I have enough money where I can make everything outsource, basically everything to proper property management company, etc., yeah, I'll start getting into real estate. But if that's something somebody wants to do for one of their first businesses, and you have to start small, couple rooms, house that you have to live in with your tenants, think about
It's a
this.
grind. It's a grind for sure.
It's a grind, right? And that's why I prefer crypto, because I tell people, why park your money in a physical business where you have all this overhead cost and all this opportunity to have loss. Example, some guy that just started with us doing portfolio management. So he pays us every month to manage his crypto portfolio, and we turn him a profit. Originally, what he was going to do with that money that he invested with us was buy trucks, semis, right? And basically rent them out to people to move product, and then he would make a slight profit every single month, and then he would also have the asset of the trucks themselves as well. This was an idea that was presented to him, and the way that I basically rationalized why the crypto play made more sense, I said, listen, the reason I love crypto is it doesn't exist. There's no overhead, there's no storage, there's no people that you have to deal with. It's just simply algorithm. It's simply code. It's just code on a computer. It doesn't take up any space. It doesn't take up any mental real estate outside of the market fluctuating. But that's it. That's why I enjoy it. Is okay, I have a place where I can park my money without having to deal with shit all the time. I don't have to deal with tenants. I don't have to deal with the property deteriorating. I got squatters living in my fucking house. People, whatever. No, it's just coins in a fucking wallet, and then whenever it's worth more, or whenever I generate a yield off of my liquidity pool or off of my DeFi loan, I just cash out the money. That's it, right? So I would much prefer those avenues to generate an income before getting into the physical realm. It just makes more sense to me, and it made more sense for him too. You don't have to deal with all the extra bullshit.
It's funny, that's a good term you use there, the physical realm. And it's something that, and like I've been saying, I told you, Priamo, but I'm doing these business audits where I'm helping people with their business, no matter if that's an e-commerce business or some people have service businesses that I talk to where they have clients for marketing and things like that. But one of the things that came up as I was doing this is the liability that comes with building a physical business in the real world. And the example you gave, trucking, is a perfect example because with trucking, you have to worry about the driver of the truck smashing into something, smashing into a person, hitting something, tire pops, the truck flips over. There's like an unlimited amount of things that could go wrong with a trucking company, right? And that's all liability to the owner of the business. And like you're saying, you know, crypto, you have liability in risk in terms of the downside, but not in terms of the physical thing you're holding, the Bitcoin just like breaking and you can't use it anymore. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
With physical businesses, there's real liability in terms of things breaking, people getting hit by trucks, and then you're in a lawsuit because your driver killed somebody. So there's all these different things.
Exactly.
And so the route that I've been taking with online businesses, stay away from the physical stuff because it's only, and you got to think about shipping stuff. Sometimes you ship it and it doesn't even go to the person, and then you're down a product. And so there's so much things that could go wrong with these physical businesses these days, and you don't really have to. You could build a website, a landing page, where you are providing value to someone. They could be anywhere they want, and they're going to pay you for that value. And like you're saying, it's a fugazi. You're just on a web page up in the cloud somewhere. It's not a real physical product that's going to get damaged, lost, stolen in transit to the customer. You could provide a value to people, and that's what a business is, right? Like, let's just break it down. What is a business, and how do people get rich from businesses? Well, it's providing value or a service to somebody or to customers, right? So the businesses that are worth the most money provide the most value, provide the most excitement, happiness to customers, right? Amazon, think about it. They provide billions of packages a day across the world. Apple, everybody has an Apple iPhone, makes them happy, makes them do things. You could help them work. So if your business could provide happiness or could provide value and things that are useful to customers, you could build a business with anything. It could literally be a web page. It could be you talking to them one-on-one, just like we are right now. So that was an audit, and that's an area that I'm looking for as I'm going through these audits with these people is, okay, listen, you don't need to have all this physical stuff. You know, you see the videos of people with boxes piled up in the room. It's like, settle down a little bit. Let's get the business turning profit first. Then you could order 150
Right.
things from AliExpress and load them up in your house.
That's another great business point that I was teaching this to. Even one of the girls I was talking to, she wanted to build a makeup company, e-commerce makeup company. Classic, right? Girls, they love that shit. Kylie
hot.
Jenner. Yeah, it's hot. Kylie Jenner, look at her, right? Completely understand. Makes sense. You could have a great business that way. But what was the first thing I told her? And she got the same advice from her father. She told me afterwards was, I said, here's the thing, right? Because this is a classic girl brain. Let me buy all the product. Let me make everything look nice. Let me spend all this money. Let me do all the things that don't make me money before I actually launch the business or launch the product. That's a fugaz. And this is also the scam that you see with these online businesses where you go to their website and you pay them $300-$400 for them to set up your LLC. I see these ads now for these companies. So don't fall for that shit. $400 open. You go to the IRS website. You get an EIN number for your business. It is fucking free, and they give it to you instantly. And to set up your LLC, you just go to your whatever state that you are in or whatever state your business is going to be in. You go to that state website. You find where you set up the LLC through. You go to their state website. You literally register your LLC. You register who's the owner, who's the executor, etc. Boom, they give you your LLC. Free. It's all free. Or you could get fucking smoked by one of these websites that'll charge you $400 to do it. Anyways.
Yeah, you don't even have to pay taxes until you make like $5,000 or $6,000. So once you make $5,000 or $6,000, okay, then you should start worrying about that stuff.
Exactly. So it's not even something that should cross your mind is to spend money for this. No. What should cross your mind whenever you want to start a makeup brand or a makeup e-commerce business is, what do I have to do to generate an income? Sell the product first, get people to show up to your website, get people to send you money even before you have the makeup in the first place. Because at least if you have money coming in, then you can figure out everything else afterwards, right? My mindset with business is whatever you need me to do or whatever you ask me to do, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I have a business for that. Yeah, I already have a team that can do that for you. Yep, I'll be able to deliver that. Even if I don't have the team yet, even if I've never done that before, I don't care. If you come to me with an opportunity to make money, I'm going to tell you I can get it done. And guess what? I'm going to get it done. Because when you send me the money, I can now use the money to get the business done, right? So perfect example of this is now I'm starting to build a media company. Why? Because I already have guys in-house building out my YouTube channel, building out my shorts. I already have these people hired. Somebody comes to me, he says, all right, hey, I want to be able to do what you're doing. How would I do that? Hey, guess what? I have a team that does that already. I'm just going to go ahead and have them do it for you too now. He pays me. Guess what? The guys get paid. They make their money. We build the business that way. Now it's a media company.
He gets his YouTube channel. He gets his videos. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yep. And then I make the money on top through arbitrage, right? Mm-hmm. This is how you make money. So I never turn down an opportunity to make money, ever. But you always got to get the money to come in first. Get the money to come in first, then you figure it out, right? You should never turn down an opportunity to make money, and don't spend money before you make the money. So, but yeah, the point that I was making to this girl was don't buy the fucking makeup. Don't do all this. No. Set up the website, run the ads or post on your Instagram. Do whatever it is you got to do to generate some sales. Get some people to fucking buy the product. Once you buy the product, then you go to AliExpress or whatever website you want and you fucking source the makeup. You get it set out to the customer. Everybody's happy. But find out if the business makes money first.
Yeah, it's a huge thing in testing and seeing if there's demand for your service, which, makeup there is, but seeing that you could get customers to come into you before you sell, like a pre-sale, we'll call it, like have a pre-sale. Say, hey, we're going live on July 1st. That gives you 2 months, but get your pre-sales in now, get the website up. So then when you go live on July 1st, and you have 100 sales ready to go, then you just ship them all out, and you're making real money right there. But give yourself the time, right? And you could launch the pre-sale, but you could say, hey, we're not going to ship these out until July 1st when we officially go live. So then, what's today? May 1st. That gives you 2 full months to get 100 sales in. I mean, so if you're selling a $30 product times 100, that's $3,000 you made before you even went live on your business. So these are little things that we like to teach. If you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our links in our descriptions to join the Taylor's Code, because this is, you're getting the tip of the iceberg here. It's a great conversation. Me and Primo haven't caught up in a while, so the ideas are flowing today. But so if you guys are enjoying, make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure you guys check out the links to get inside the Taylor's Code if you guys want. These are just some of the ideas we have about how you guys can make business with, or make money with $0 down, and some of the business ideas we have.
Mm-hmm. I want to touch on this too, because the gentleman's code, right? We got to talk about the fucking mindset of being a competent individual, man, in this world. So brotherhood's important, and doing the things that continue to keep you hungry to get to that next level of life is important. So, we were out here in Vegas, and I'm talking to Martin, which, like I said, we'll try to get him on the podcast here soon. And, we're reflecting on where we were in the past compared to now and what we're able to do. One of the places that we went last night was Delilah's. So Delilah's is this class dinner spot in the Wynn, and it's very exclusive, very tucked away, not advertised at all. Very few people know about it, and there's no flash photography inside. You can't have your phones out. It is very hush, posh, but gorgeous restaurant, live music, old school, like old Vegas 40s, 50s style with the old microphones, and they have live musicians, a girl singing, they got the jazz band playing. All the waiters and waitresses are in full suits. The girls are looking beautiful. They got the dancers, the go-go dancers around the whole place. Shit's out of a movie. It's a restaurant out of a movie. And I'm sitting there talking to Martin, and we're not drinking, we're not drunk, we don't drink, we're ordering all the appetizers on the menu, we're spending hundreds of dollars on food, and we're talking and we're saying to ourselves, this is exactly what being a gentleman is like. You go to a restaurant like this, we're dressed to the nines, got our designers on, got our Rolexes on. We're eating good, not even looking at the prices on any of the food. Like, that's the level that you want to get to in life and enjoy those sorts of experiences. And that reminds you, this is what being a gentleman's all about. It's not about being a lazy bum and doing nothing with your life and going to the pub, local bar, and drinking with your friends. No. A gentleman is going to Vegas, hitting the wind, hitting Delilah's, just the gentleman, enjoying, watching, having our espressos, eating it's just that whole experience. You can't give that to somebody. You can't even explain it to somebody unless you were there. And that's what I look at as being a gentleman is how can I have the pinnacle of the human experience and with the gentleman, with my brothers around me. That's the best. You can't beat that. So we didn't go to Delilah. No, yeah, I didn't learn about Delilah's until like 2 years ago. So we weren't there whenever you came to Vegas.
We went to that one spot in Resorts World. Remember, it was the grand opening when we were there, and we went to that one little back room club.
I was just there last night too. We went to
Really?
Resort World. Yes. Dude, I was telling Martin, I said, when Bobby was out here, I said it was the opening week, the first time they ever opened Resort World. And you, me, and Denora went in there, and that night was fucking absurd, bro. Absurd. Yeah, that shit was hilarious. I stayed there till 6, 7 in the morning playing craps, I remember. And you guys left, and I just said, I'm going to keep playing. Because I was up. I was up, Brad. So I played till 6, 7 in the morning, and they were still building the property. It wasn't done. They were doing construction while we were there.
Yeah.
So,
Probably on the top floor, suite level stuff, probably getting finished up.
exactly. So my phone had died, so I wasn't able to get an Uber back to I did not know what to do. And so I made it somehow up to the top level and outside, and I was so fucking tired. And I fell asleep on a bench up outside. Yeah, like a fucking bum. I fell asleep on a bench, and then I got woken up a few minutes later by these dudes with fucking hard hats on. The construction people coming to work the next day. They're like, "Hey, buddy, you got to get up, bro. You can't be here. I'm like, what? Dude, it's fucking 9 a.m. I'm sleeping on a fucking bench. They're trying to build this building. Get the fuck out of here, guy.
I thought that night we ended up going back to your place together. No, was that not the night?
You did, but without me.
Oh, because I remember the night you were playing craps, but then that was the night we went to that little bar club in Resorts World, I thought. And then I don't know, I guess we just
No,
because
yeah.
I thought that was the night that we have that picture of you and Denora holding the money outside. It was like 9:30 in the morning.
That was another night. That was the night when we saw Tyga at.
Oh yeah, that was Rack City, bitch.
Yeah. That was at the MCM Grand. That was that night.
Yeah.
So we came out from Tyga. We went to the craps table. I won all that bread from craps.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And then we walked out. It was 6, 7 in the morning. We're like, oh, what the fuck?
It's light out.
Yeah, light out. That's the best. That's the best. Vegas, you come out, you start the night at the casino and you leave and it's fucking bright out. You're like, what the fuck happened? Dude, but yeah, Vegas is good. But it's great to see that level up, and that's what it's about. It's about loyalty, it's about brotherhood, and it's about just being a gentleman. It's a different life experience, right? You get to choose who you are in this life and what kind of character you want to be. And that's the character you chose, I chose, Martin chose. It's just gentlemen, just living the best experience that a man can experience. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah,
Nothing
one
less.
of the main things is, like you say, dressing up. Every time somebody sees you out, they go, "Wow, he's dressed up." Every time I see him, he looks great. He smells great. He's never stumbling over himself, drunk, stumbling all over the place. Looking. He's dressed up professional. Pulls up in his brand new car, whatever it might be. So just like you're saying, that it's that persona of being a gentleman, and talking to people with class and shaking their hand, looking them in the eyes, having a conversation over dinner, whatever it is. And like you're saying, those are the most memorable nights because you could actually remember them because you're not shit-faced, but it's because you're actually making memories and you're out having experiences, and especially in places like Las Vegas and Miami. And I think we should honestly do a New York trip one time. I think it's about that time because there's so many great spots in New York in terms of food, fine dining like that, but also just espresso spots and nightclubs that you could sit down and just have a good time at. I think that's long overdue for the lads to hit a New York trip. But we will one day. We got a lot of stuff on our plate that we got to take care of. But that's definitely on the bucket list.
I'm on that. I'm in for that because I've still not done New York, and everybody tells me that that's got to take place. That has to happen.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
New York's a vibe,
Yeah.
especially for shopping too. We'll save that for a real shopping trip.
Beautiful. I'm in. I'm in. And so, yeah, so that was a great experience with Delilah's. And yeah, so that's what I would encourage the gentleman to do is make sure you're the character in the game that you want to be. You can customize your character in real life. Don't wait till GTA 6 comes out before you start building your next. Fuck the video game. How about your real life is the GTA game? How about your real life is where you upgrade? The real life is where you have the Lambo, the McLaren, the penthouse suite at the best casino in the country, and you're going to Delilah's with a honey and with a gentleman. Like that's the experience that you want to have. That's where the adventure comes from too. What's the adventure that you're on as a man, right? My greatest fear in life is not dying. It's getting to that point and not having a story to tell, not having a story to give to my children and my grandchildren of this fantastic adventure of a life that I had, the man that I was, what I grew into, the gentleman that I became, the money that I made, the trips that I had went on, the family that I had built. That's what's going to be exciting at the end of my life is talking about the adventure that I went on, the fact that I haven't, worked a job in however many years and moved to all these different cities and traveled the world and gone to Europe and drove these cars. That's the adventure of it. It's like, what are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your energy?
Yep. And that's the main thing is like some people are gonna look back and be like, wow, I could have done this or I could have done that, but I didn't because of XYZ. Because it'll probably be because I was just too scared or I was too lazy. A lot of it will be, oh, because I didn't have enough money. That's one thing I don't ever want to have to say is, oh, I didn't do this because I didn't have enough money, or I can't do that because I don't have enough money. That is the worst pain I think I could ever have is, I can't do that unless it's something extravagant like, oh, I couldn't get on the yacht this summer because, well, it's whatever. That's something different. But like when you get older and, you want to do those things, you want to travel, you want to see the world, you want to enjoy extravagant luxury things, you're going to have to spend a little money. So you have to get your finances right. And that's part of being a gentleman is the part of being a gentleman is it's work hard, it's play hard. It's definitely making your money, but it's also you have to spend your money to live that life and to tell those stories. Experiences cost money. That's just how it is, and that's fine. I'm willing to spend the money. You can't take that money when you die anyway. So learn to make it, learn to save it, learn to spend it accordingly, and we'll all have great lives and we'll have great experiences.
Exactly. So I'm thinking I had another point I was going to make with the pinnacle of the human experience is okay. This is what it was. Yeah, there's two ways you can choose to live your life that are actually worthwhile. The one way is the way that my grandfather had done it. My nonno was he didn't need money because he chose to enjoy and care about the things that did not require it. So he never had he worked for himself. He was his own tailor, had his own tailor shop, but he never made more than $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year. Okay, but why was he free though as a man? Why did he still live a meaningful life to 101 years old? Because he didn't need money to have the life that he wanted. He had the life that he wanted. It just didn't require him having a lot of money. So the money wasn't a problem. On the flip hand side, the life I'm choosing to live is the life of true freedom through financial freedom. Being able to experience all the finest luxuries in the world, driving the nicest cars, being around the best women. That's my end of the spectrum. That's going to require enough money where you're financially free. That's the other bit of freedom, where you still don't work for anybody. You do what you want, right? In both scenarios, you work for yourself. You end up building something for yourself. You live the way that you want to live. That's the true freedom. The issue is that 99% of people get stuck in between those two different realities.
Yep.
They want all the fantastic, nice things, and they want to drive the nice cars, they want to have the nice house, and they want to become financially free and rich, but they never actually do what's required for those things, and so they get stuck right in the middle, where they do need money, so they always have to work a job, but never their own business or enough money. It's just you get stuck in the middle. So you're not free because you still have a boss. You work for somebody else, but you can't have all the things that you want. So you're not satisfied. and you get trapped in that middle ground. You got to make a decision to do one or the other. You either have to have zero relationship and zero need for money to be free, or you have to have so much that it doesn't matter what anything costs because you can do anything that you want because you have so much money. It's one or the other. You have to be, that's the only way you can live a fulfilling life is you just got to choose one of those two. It has to be on the extremes, right?
Yeah, because a lot of people, especially like you're saying, people that work 9 to 5 jobs, they say it's like, oh, well, I don't need, this. I don't need all this money. It's like, well, you do need it because obviously you're working, if you're working 40, 50 hours a week, you need that money. That's why else are you working that much unless you need that money, right? So people have a contradiction. They say, oh, like rich people, all they care about is money. Well, it's like, well, all everybody cares about is money because everybody's working at 9 to 5 job, or some people work more. Some people work 70, 80 hours a week to make $150,000 a year. Do you really think that's worth it? Like when I was working in public accounting, that's who these people were. That was their lives. They wanted to work 80 hours a week for public companies that paid them and paid me, paid them shit. And that was their life. And I knew right then and there, I was like, this is not the life for me. Absolutely not. 100%. And so that's when you get on these journeys where it's like, I need to start self-educating and I need to understand these things and I need to be able to put myself in a position that I could work for myself, build a personal brand, and be able to break out of this, that I don't need a company or need a business to line my pockets to make me survive. So I think that should be the goal of every person who is in that situation, maybe stuck in that place that you talked about. Because how do you become financially free? It's one, having a personal brand that people want to associate their business with. So either they pay you or you build a system in terms of a business. A business at the highest level is a system that generates money. So you need to understand that you could either set yourself up as a personal brand to be able to attract businesses that want to work with you, that want to pay you, or people that want to work with you, people that want to pay you, or you design a system, which a lot of people that are maybe introverted will do. They build coding systems. Think of Mark Zuckerberg. He designs Facebook, and he built a system that now generates billions of dollars of revenue a year. So now he's able, as an introvert, he's not going to. Oh,
it's freezing up. You're freezing up. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
You back?
I think I'm back.
Yeah, I hear you.
So long-winded, but that was the point. I think I'm still frozen on my end, but long-winded answer: build a system or build your brand enough that you don't have to, work all your time away for money.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and you're right. That's the thing. People say they don't care about money, but then they work a job. Now, if you really didn't care about money and you don't need money, you'd be a fucking monk living in the mountains, living off of the land, literally not needing any money because you just live off of the land and you're a spiritual individual, which I'm sure is a fantastic existence for those monks who choose to do that because they're at peace with the life that they're living. You just can't. It's a psyop. It's a cope mechanism saying that, oh, I don't need that much money or I don't care about money. But then, like you said, living in a capitalistic society. Listen, if you're in a capitalist society and you're adhering to that model of society, you'd care about money. You need money. Like you said, that's why you work. My grandfather, he didn't have the job. He worked for himself. He only made just enough to be able to feed the family. But all he cared about was art, music, food. It genuinely did not matter to him any type of physical. It didn't. And him, the value was in intellect, was in his ability to be an artist and intellectual individual. That's being free from the system. But yeah, no, if you're working a job and you're making money and you're paying your bills, and you are dependent on money whether you want to admit it or not. So if you're truly not dependent on it, you'd work for yourself, or you'd go be a priest or go live off of the land somewhere and just live off the grid. That would be true. Okay, I'm outside of the system, right? So if I'm going to choose to play this capitalistic game, well, I'm going to compete at the highest levels. I'm going to win the game, and I'm going to compete, and I'm going to make money, and then I'm going to do all the fantastic things with that money that I can. So I understand that that's the game that I'm in, right? To be able to win the game, you got to first admit to yourself that you're playing the game, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to exist in the Western civilization and be a part of a capitalistic society, you have to admit to yourself, you're a part of the game. So instead of not trying to win, start trying to win and at least move up the ladder and get to a position where you can do whatever you want. One last thing I'll mention too, with the fallacy of I don't need the money. A lot of people think they don't need the money because they don't need it right this second. The issue is that they haven't encountered a catastrophe yet or been put in a situation financially where now they do need it and now they don't have time to go get it. What happens whenever your mother gets cancer or your father gets fucking cancer or your wife gets sick or your kids need to go to college, or what happens when all these things that aren't currently right in front of your face start happening and then you do need that money, right? Just because you don't need it right this second doesn't mean you don't need it. It's just because you haven't put yourself in a situation where you had to use it.
That's a great point, because if something happens like that and you need to take 3 months off of work, 6 months off of work, how are you going to survive? How are you going to pay your bills? So things, emergencies like that happen all the time. And, the sad part is that these companies, they'll replace you. They'll get rid of your job title. They'll kick it to the curb. They'll hire someone new, someone younger, someone cheaper. That's just the reality of corporate America, corporate business, is that you're just a number, realistically, and they'll replace you. And it means everything to you because you have to pay for everything in your life. And a lot of people take pride in their jobs, which is great. No matter what they do, if they're chopping down trees or they're a plumber or whatever, a lot of people take pride in what they do. But if you get fired from that, then you're not only missing the financial aspect, you might be missing a part of you that like wakes up every day excited to go to your job or whatever it is. So if you could find your passion, find what you love to do every single day, but it also makes you money while you sleep, while you're doing it, that's the best case scenario you could have, to have that financial freedom to go out then and do whatever you want to do. Maybe it is art, maybe it's cars. You could express yourself once you have that financial freedom to go be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah. Well, the gentlemen are fucking bullish, Bobby. The gentlemen are bullish. Vegas is good. Miami is good. I'm glad that I'm going to likely be down there in South Florida with you pretty soon, so that's going to be huge for us. And, I mean, outside of that, I think that's a banger episode. You got anything else you want to rip?
No, man, that's it. That was a great episode, and we got a lot on the horizon, like we talked about. There's so much work to be done to develop these systems and to keep making money and to keep growing the Taylor's Code. That's something I'll mention is if you guys are watching us and you watched all the way, first of all, congratulations, you got a lot of juice in this episode. So thanks for being here. But if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and like the video wherever you're watching this at, and make sure to go check out our link in our description so you guys can see all of the products I have on our website and the access to the Taylor's Code, the most important piece, to be able to talk to me and Priyama day in and day out. And let us know what you guys are looking for. Are you guys looking for more e-commerce content from me? What are you looking for? Like, what is going to help you get over the hump in terms of getting out of that 9-to-5 job that you hate? Like, what is it that you need? What is it that you guys want to see from us? Please drop it in the comments below as well, and we'll make sure to make more content of that.
Yeah. Put yourself in an environment that's going to get you excited for life. The guys inside the Discord are excited about life. They're excited about opportunity. They're positive. They're winning. They're making money. You get access to me, Bobby, Logan,
Very
everybody
true.
inside. It's huge. Surround yourself with those people. The negativity, I'm telling you, negativity plagues your life right now, and you might not even realize it. The people around you are not winning at a high level. The people around you don't look at life as opportunity, as positivity. You got to be around winners. Again, you want to start coming on trips with me and Bobby. You want to come meet us in Vegas. You want to go to Miami. You want to start to expand your horizons. You want to start to win, make more money. This is where you got to be at. Join the network. Connect with us. Meet with us. We'll do live trainings inside the Discord. We'll obviously work with you one-on-one on your businesses. Bobby with your e-commerce, auditing your business. Me with the crypto, showing you how to make money in DeFi, showing you how to make money through the assets that we're investing into, what my portfolio looks like. Everything that you need to make money is inside. You simply just need to use the resource, okay? So be honest with yourself. Understand that what you're doing right now is clearly not working as well as it could have. Also, the one other thing I'll mention too, this is huge. Inside the Discord, I'll also put you in a position to generate an income. If you're looking for a better opportunity work-wise and you want to get into the sales industry or you want to start to build your own business, I will also show you how to do that outside of independent of crypto. So I'm talking like actually get you into the insurance industry or get you into the sales industry, show you how to make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month in income from sales, from building an agency that you can sell down the road. That's a completely different realm that you can also make money in. So that's huge. I'll put you in a position to do that, right? And you can be 18 years old and do that. You could be 50 years old. You could be fucking speaking Spanish and no English. You could do that. Bro, these people in the insurance industry print money, print. So if you're looking for the income side of things, join for that. Income side of things, join with the e-commerce. If you're looking to invest and generate and grow your wealth, because you're already making 30, 40, 50,000 a month, great. Then we'll do the crypto. Then we'll go that route. But I just want to make sure I let people know that it's more than just networking and be a part of the winning organization. It's also getting you an income and making you money so you can escape and be more valuable to the organization. Selfishly, we want you to make money so you can be more value to the organization. We don't want broke people in here. We don't want people not making money. No.
Bleeding resources.
Yeah, exactly. No. When you get brought into the network and you join, we're going to show you how to make money because we want you to make money selfishly because that's better for everybody. So, yeah, huge. But outside of that, good to go.
Outside of that, that's all I got. We'll see you guys next week. I'll be live on Sunday afternoon as well. So make sure to tune in then. That's all I got, though.
Bang. I'm going to hit him with a little Mr. Producer and then show him a little background. Boom. Mr. Producer. Banger. Hold on, let me do.